In the human realm, practitioners cultivate the field of the heart, sowing seeds of virtue and wisdom. When these seeds ripen, life blossoms in a brighter world, the Deva realm. There is no hunger, no war, no illness there. Everything is formed by merit. Radiant palaces, celestial music, fragrant blossoms. Yet the Buddha reminded his disciples, even the heavens are impermanent. Amid all splendor, impermanence quietly flows. When merit fades, the light dims. Only liberation brings unending peace. The heavenly realms are the fruits of merit, the reflections of a purified mind. Those who live virtuously, keep moral discipline, and cultivate the heart may be reborn among the Devas. There, beings dwell in radiant joy, free from worldly pain, yet still within the cycle of samsara. There are 3 levels of heavenly existence: the sensual realm, Kamavakara Deva, the form realm, Rupavakara Deva, and the formless realm, Arupavakara Deva. These realms represent the progressive purification of the mind, from desire to serenity, from serenity to pure awareness. The sensual heavens are realms where pleasure still exists, yet far purer and more blissful than in the human world. Those reborn here are beings who practice generosity, observed the 5 precepts, and cultivated compassion. Their merits elevate them to a brighter existence, though desire still lingers. The form realms transcend the senses. Beings here are free from greed and anger, dwelling in luminous serenity. They are those who mastered meditation, attaining the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th jhana. Their realm is like a still lake, calm and radiant, filled with wisdom's light. The formless heavens are beyond all forms. No body, no sound, no color, only pure consciousness abides. Those who reach here have mastered the formless absorptions, the realms of infinite space, infinite consciousness, nothingness, and neither perception nor non-perception. Their minds are vast and tranquil, yet liberation still lies beyond. Though heavenly lives are vast in span and filled with joy, they too are impermanent. When merit is exhausted, devas fall from the heavens and return to samsara. The Buddha reminds us, instead of clinging to celestial pleasure, cultivate wisdom and end illusion. The path to nibbana, the deathless. Amid boundless radiance, the celestial palace of the 33 floats upon clouds of fragrance. Music flows endlessly. Flowers rain from the sky. This is the glorious realm of Sakka, Lord of the Devas. Once a generous man in the human world, Sakka rose to heaven through his acts of virtue and charity. Now crowned with light, he sits upon his jeweled throne, surrounded by celestial maidens and divine splendor. Yet within his heart, a shadow stirs. For deep in the heavens, a divine drum beats by itself whenever a deva's life nears its end. One day the drum resounds, doom, doom. The palace trembles, the music falters. Sakka's heart trembles too. He remembers countless devas who once rejoiced beside him, now vanished into the endless wheel of birth and death. He sits in meditation and recalls the Buddha's words. All conditioned things are like dreams, fleeting as bubbles on a stream. Only wisdom and compassion lead beyond the shore. With humility, Sakka vows to live mindfully, to use his heavenly life for merit, and to protect the Dhamma and those who practice it. The Buddha smiled and said to the monks, "Even in heaven, the wise see impermanence. Blessed is Sakka, who guards virtue with awareness." Amid the radiant blossoms of the heavenly gardens, there lived a celestial maiden named Surima Deva. In her past human life, she had given generously and kept pure precepts, and through the ripening of her good deeds, she was born in the Tusita heaven. Her beauty shone like the dawn, her presence adorned with light, and hosts of devas praised her virtue and grace. Yet even among laughter and celestial song, her merit, like a blooming flower, would one day fade. Impermanence had already cast its silent shadow. In her former life, she was a kind woman in the human world. She gave alms to monks and helped the poor, but her heart was not yet pure. Her generosity was driven by the wish for beauty and pleasure in her next life. Thus, upon her death, she was reborn as a radiant celestial maiden. Her palace was made of 7 precious gems, filled with fragrance and music that arose from nowhere. Surrounded by maidens, she laughed and danced, lost in pleasures that seemed eternal. In that brilliance, she forgot the fragility of merit and the truth of suffering. As her heavenly merit waned, her radiance dimmed, and the flowers on her garlands withered. Her attendants vanished one by one. The music ceased and silence fell. She looked upon her fading form in terror, a sign of her impending fall. In her final moment, she remembered her past almsgiving, and the Buddha's words echoed in her mind. All conditioned things are like dreams, illusions, bubbles, and shadows. With tears of remorse, she made a vow to be born again as a human, to practice the true Dhamma and not be lost again. As she descended to the human realm, she no longer feared, for within her heart, a light of awakening had begun to shine.
Sabbe sankhara anicca, sabbe sankhara dukkha, sabbe dhamma anatta, yada panyaya passati, athani bindati dukkhe, esa maggo visuddhiya.
All conditioned things are impermanent. All conditioned things are suffering. All phenomena are not self. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. This is the path to purity. The bliss of heaven shines brightly, yet like blossoms in spring, it will surely fade. Only wisdom and compassion, the true practice of the path, can lead beyond birth and death to the deathless shore of Nibbana. She opened her eyes again, no longer in a celestial palace, but in a humble hut where the morning light touched her face. That light was no longer dazzling, but profoundly real. She was reborn in a small earthly village, named Arama. Since childhood she loved beauty and laughter, yet deep inside, she felt an unspoken emptiness, as if a forgotten dream was calling her from a distant heaven. As she grew older, she often gazed at the stars at night, a strange melancholy rising in her heart. She could not understand why all her pleasures still left her unfulfilled, until one day a monk came to the village, teaching under a Bodhi tree. Sensual pleasure is like a flame. Only wisdom can quench it. The sound, ancient and pure, pierced through time and space, awakening her dormant heart. In that instant, she saw it. The heavens she once dwelled in, the fall, the tears, and the vow she once made. Her heart trembled, tears flowed freely. It was not sorrow, but awakening, a homecoming of the soul. From that day on, she meditated at dawn and chanted at dusk. She observed desires arise and cease, and felt peace flowing through her mind. Gradually, she realized the true light is not in the heavens, but within the heart. At that moment, she smiled. Heavenly splendors were but dreams. Only awareness and wisdom are lights that never fall. In the quiet dawn of the human world, she sat beneath the temple tree. No jewels adorned her hands, only a pure and peaceful heart. She no longer prayed to be reborn in heaven, but to understand the truth of suffering and cessation. She watched her breath, the rise and fall of thoughts, saw desire like waves, rising fiercely, vanishing silently. She realized suffering does not come from the world outside, but from the mind that clings and refuses to let go. The celestial music she once knew was now a faint echo from a distant past. She understood at last. Merit brings beauty, but only wisdom and compassion transcend the cycle of birth and death. Na antalike, na samuddamaje, na pabbatanam vivaram pavisa, na vijatu so jagatipadeso, yathathito mucheya papakama. Dhammapada 127. In the sky, in the ocean's depth, or hidden within mountain caves, there is no place in this world where one may escape one's deeds. Her smile was serene, filled with quiet grace. She was no longer the fallen Celestial Maiden, but an awakened being, a light shining gently upon the darkness of ignorance. Even the radiance of heaven fades, and celestial music will one day fall silent. No merit, however vast, can withstand impermanence. When the Deva's lifespan ends, consciousness seeks a new realm. Without insight, the wheel of rebirth turns once again. The Buddha said, "Rare is birth as a human, rare is hearing the Dhamma, and rare is the arising of right understanding. Among all realms, the human world is most precious for practice, for suffering teaches reflection, and impermanence awakens wisdom. When we realize that even celestial splendor fades, and hellish torment too shall end, we finally understand. No realm is worthy of clinging to, for only the awakened heart leads to true liberation. This entire journey, from the flames of hell, the hunger of ghosts, the fear of beasts, the envy of asuras, to the brilliance of heaven, is but the reflection of the mind. In the next episode, we step onto the path of liberation, the awakening that transcends all 6 realms.